And one thing that is cool is that you can go ahead and also spin the turret around as well. Hey everybody, Kaiden here, and today I have the FToys World Tank Museum Kit Volume 6. And this is in 1:144 scale, and there are 3 different types of tanks to collect, and each of them having 3 different variants. So in total, there are 9 pieces to collect, but today I have 3 kits, and I'm hoping to collect all 3 different types of tanks. So let's go ahead and unbox this. Alright everybody, so I have 3 kits from FToys here. Now if you don't know about FToys or haven't heard of them, I do a couple of videos on FToys and I really like the different model kits that they do. They come in these little boxes here, and there's always a collection that you can get, as you can see. So we have 9 different tanks to collect, and we have a British Centurion, a Japanese Chi-Ri, and as well as a Russian JS3, and each of them has 3 different sort of paint schemes. And FToys, they usually come with like a little chewing gum, so if you're a little bit confused why there's a nutritional fact value over here, that's just because it always comes with a little piece of chewing gum. And the 2 that I hope to get is at least number 5 and as well as number 7. These are my 2 most desired ones, and I hope I get them. But all of them are really cool, so let's go ahead and open them up and see what we got. Alrighty, so here is our first box. And oh. Alrighty, and the first one, it looks like we got a Chi-Ri. So this is really cool, and it looks like it is in a green paint scheme here. And here's a little instructions booklet here. And here's the other side. It just shows cool little things about the Chi-Ri, but it's all in Japanese, so I cannot read that. Alrighty, so this was tank number 1, the Chi-Ri. Here is our second box. Oh, didn't fully get across there. And, ooh, this one was a desired one that I wanted. This one is the JS3, and I think we got the one that we wanted. Yeah, number 7. So I'm glad I got one that I wanted. And here's the JS3. Very nice. And let's go ahead and take a look at this. Here's our instructions, and as you can see, here's more little specifications about the tank, but it's all in Japanese. And here's a little gum that it comes with, so you can chew on this while you're working. And our last one, I'm really hoping we at least get number 5 or one of the Centurions, sorry, so that we can complete having 3 different types. So let's go ahead and open this up. And our third tank looks like another JS3. The good thing, though, is that this is in another paint scheme, different from this one. So it looks like we got 2 JS3s and as well as 1 Chi-Ri. So unfortunately, we couldn't complete getting all 3 different types with the Centurion. But I'm still pretty happy because these are really cool. And I'm pretty sure that this is the same little picture information here. And that looks really cool. I bet you can hang that up on your wall. And of course, the same little instructions there. Alrighty, so the tools I'm going to be using is my Tamiya cement and as well as these little spruce cutters to cut out the pieces. So let's go ahead and get building. Oh, and I also forgot that I'm going to be using a little bit of water here because I just realized that we do have some water slide decals, and I am going to be showing you a little bit of how I build this first tank, and then I'm going to go ahead and complete the 2 other tanks and I'll review them. Alright, so our 3 tanks are built, so let's take a look at them. Okay everybody, so let's first take a look at our first tank that we got, which was the Chiri. Now this one has a nice green paint job with it, and the water decals that we have on here are the Japanese flag on both sides. And one thing that I found, which is kind of funny while assembling this, if you look straight down the barrel of the tank, it almost looks like it's looking at you with eyes, but from the side it looks pretty cool because you have the Japanese flag. And the molding on this was really nice. It was pretty easy. Although one thing that I did encounter though is that they labeled the pieces wrong. I think this little machine gun port right here, this was marked as, I think, number 5 or number 11. Yeah, like number 5 here, and then there's this little, I believe this is a little light right here, was marked number 11. But they switched it inside out, and I noticed that like, hey, this shouldn't go here, it should be switched. So they just had a little error in the instructions there, but other than that, it was pretty easy to build. Although there's just some pretty dang small pieces on this, such as like the little light in the front, and as well as, I'm not sure what this is. I think this is like a little extra track. I could be wrong though, but there's pretty much very minimal little pieces to put together. And one thing that is cool is that you can go ahead and also spin the turret around as well. So if you want your turret glued in permanently, you can go ahead and do that, or you can just snap it in and it'll be able to turn, and it has enough friction to stay still. As you can see, it won't go down. But here's a little bit of a more close-up of the tank here that'll focus in. As you can see, the molding is really nice. And then the front of the tank, they also molded the barrel of both of the guns here. I think this one is a smaller cannon at the bottom, and then of course our main gun here. Details of the back as well. It looks really, really nice in my opinion. The only really way you can mess up with this, which you can tell by my fingers, is if you accidentally touch a piece of glue and it kind of smears the paint around. Because the cool thing about the FToys models is that they already come pre-painted, and so the details of this are nice, and as well as the underside as well. We have some details for all the hatches and ports. And one thing that is a little bit of a problem is that, as you can see on the tracks, there's a little bit of leftover plastic spruce, so I just tried to cut off the ends, and I bet that you can just touch it up with a little bit of gray and black, it'll look a lot better. But it's at the bottom and the inside of the tracks, and I also like how they had a little bit of track sag right here. And this was pretty easy to put together. I think this one was the easiest out of all 3 of the tanks. Alrighty, so there is the Chiri, and I'll go ahead and show you our next tank here, and this is the JS3 or the IS3, and let's see if this will focus in here a little bit. There we go. And overall, I think this is one of my favorite ones that I have here. As you can see, they did a great job modeling it, and also I really like that the little light on the front is also painted a little bit silver, as you can see right there. And there's also extra tracks laid out on the body of the tank, as you can see. And there's a nice little white sort of stripes on top. And there's some more little fuel tanks there. And also one thing which was my fault is that I actually snipped off too much of the fuel tank, as you can see, which is the unfortunate part, is that the little area where the spruces are, as you can see, where you cut it off, it's there. I bet if I sanded that down a little bit or touched it up with some green paints, that'll fix it. But yeah, I instantly snipped off this here just a little bit more. So what I tried to do is I took a little extra spruce piece like this, put some glue on it, and sort of made myself some makeshift paint and sort of touched it up just a little bit more. But the details on this are pretty dang insane for 1:144 scale. And then at the top here, I also like that we have a little Dishka machine gun. Sorry, that's kind of a tongue twister. Let's see if that'll focus in here. There we go. Little machine gun at the top. And as well, there is some cool details on the bottom as well, as you can see. And it just really shows how well modeled these little plastic pieces are for the FToys. And they're really easy, and you can't really mess up at this at all, because they make little cuts inside where you almost have to just snap it in. like there's a half circle, and then so you have to line up the half circle so there's no way you can mess it up. So it's really easy for beginners as well. Although the only little part which I do recommend is that I started to use a little bit of tweezers for the water decals on the tanks here, but I just had to use little tweezers right there to put on the little lights and just the small pieces, but other than that, it's pretty dang easy. And our next tank here, we have another JS3, and this is a different version. As you can see, I'm pretty sure this is an earlier model, and this one had water slide decals. As you can see, it has the number 540, and I as well also added on an additional little Russian red star there, and I put it on both sides. And I think this one, I'm not sure, I'm kind of torn on which one's my favorite, either this one or that one. They're both, all three of them are really, really cool. But here's the details of it. It's pretty much just the same as the last JS3 or IS3. And this time I didn't cut off the fuel tank from what I learned last time. Same details. I think I was able to put on the small little lights and whatever that other little thing is right there a lot easier. And we have the same Dishka machine gun at top. Here's the back side with another spare track at the back, and the same underside. So this one's pretty much just the same mold as the other JS3, just doesn't come with the already painted white pieces on, and then you can put on some water slide decals with 540, and I also added on the little red Russian star there. So overall, these are really, really nice models, especially for 1 to 144 skill. As you know, there's also a British Centurion that you could collect as well, which I was hoping that I was able to get a Cheery, a JS3, and as well as a Centurion, but I'm still really happy with what I got. And these little FToys tanks are really, really cool. They also have more different volumes of tanks as well. So they have more different series with different types of tanks. If you want something more than a Japanese, British, and a Russian tank, they also do other stuff like American and German models as well, which is really, really nice. And so overall, I'm pretty happy with what I got. The molds are really nice and very easy to put together. They're like very detailed as well, so that's what I really like about these. Okay, so we have finished our 3 tanks here, and I gotta say, they turned out really, really nice, and I definitely recommend that you check this out, especially if you are a big tank fan, just like me. Now, the only thing that I had a problem with was just that I just sort of, I don't know, snipped off a little bit more of the model than I should on the fuel tank there, but that is okay, and that was my fault because I wasn't really paying attention. I would just snip, and I was like, uh-oh, but other than that, this was a really, really great volume by FToys, and I also really, really wish that we got the Centurion so we can finish the 3 different types of tanks. But either way, these are still really cool, and I am happy to put these up on my shelf. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to give me a like, and also if you want to see more videos like these, be sure to subscribe, and thanks for watching, guys. Bye!